Welcome everyone, another one of our training vlogs. We're Saturday, we're in the garage today for day 4 of a for day 4 lift, our cleans and upper body day. So kind of just made some changes this week, work-wise, some other stuff going on, had to move some days around. So we're getting our 4th day in today. Didn't sleep great last night. My wife's sister came into town and they just got back from the airport late. Dogs were barking, so kept me up and woke me up at the same time. So we're gonna see how today's training session goes. The cleans hopefully will go well. Everything else, again, the upper body, it's not too much of a demand on my central nervous system to where I feel like I'm gonna need more. So plus also being a little bit tired. We're getting on the tack mat today. I think you guys have seen me use this before, like an acupuncture mat, kind of wake up the bottom of your feet, get some of that proprioception going, just getting those nerves in the bottom of your feet kind of warmed up, and it is a great way to kind of just wake up and get everything going. We'll hang out on this for a few minutes, try to move around. I'm not really feeling like stomping on it today, so we're just gonna kind of stand still. And then get into the rest of our warm-up. Today, I'm probably just gonna give you guys the video of kind of like the cleans. I feel like that's like kind of the big rock of today's, is getting better on the clean. So we'll kind of go through that, break down some things, and then wrap up today, just kind of finishing up with those. So you guys saw barbell warm-up. You saw our DNS like prep work with the 90-90 breathing with the belly breaths and then the dead bugs. That is something I have put into, hold on, let me switch this real quick. That is something I have added in the last year with the softball team I trained. We started to have some lower back issues, and whether that was stemming from training, our prep work, movement pattern weaknesses, like it was something that we added in that was a real easy fix, because for a lot of my athletes, male, female, both teams I work with, understanding how to brace of like breathing in, they all want to like suck in their stomach and create that more thin look versus expanding out like you're pushing 360 degrees into like a cylinder to brace your core. So those two things, and really getting them to understand that diaphragm breathing, taking that from a 90-90, taking it to a dead bug, and then there's other levels that you get to that become more dynamic in nature, more complex, to where now like you still have to maintain that bracing, but going through ranges of motion, movements and all that, just again teaching the body to brace during movement. It's really helped me. And the breath belt, again, I have no affiliations with them. I've bought in 2 or 3 of them myself. They're not the cheapest belts in the world, but in terms of having something that's a little bit of a tactile cue for you then to make sure we're breathing, bracing into, has been a game changer for me, for like my back health, for my training as we're going through stuff. So my prep normally for myself stays the same. Some days it's shorter, some days it's longer. Some days we're feeling junky or tight in certain areas, so we'll add more or less. But for the most part, I try to keep it short, like make sure I get the breathing in, get the bracing in, get some kind of spine health in, some kind of T-spine rotation if we're doing cleans that day, some kind of hip and ankle work. A lot of times, as you guys see in this, we're adding pails and rails, we're adding mobility, we're adding cars into the workout. So mobility is kind of bled into the workout to help with, use that rest time a little bit more efficiently, unless we truly just need to rest in between sets. But yeah, we're gonna get into these cleans. I'll give you guys a little bit of the warm-ups. I think we're gonna up the percentage a little bit today, only because of plate math. It's gonna be easier to slap on just 2 plates instead of a bunch of change plates on the side. So I'm being lazy and trying to be more efficient with my time here. So we'll get through those. We'll go over some of the technique stuff I'm cleaning up. And that'll be it today's video. Today's all gonna be around just getting better at the clean today.
Here to do it. Based on the warm-ups, I'm thinking today's going to be a good day for these cleans. Two to 3 points that I'm really trying to think about. On the setup, making sure those wrists are curled in. That's going to help me keep the bar close to me. As I'm pulling and pushing away, keeping that pressure in the midfoot, not trying to get too far back on my heels, not driving too far onto my toes. And then finally, once I get to the knee, staying patient through the transition as I'm getting tall to then finish that extension, making sure that bar is hitting the same contact, kind of like right below my hips every single time. So it's 5 sets of 2. We've got box jumps and a core with this. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to keep just the cleans as like the main focus today for today's video, and then dive into some just feelings, technique stuff, whatever we're feeling for these 5 sets of 2 on these. I loved the first rep. Second rep, I feel, and I'd have to look back on the videos, the bar was a little bit too far away from me on the start, so that didn't allow me to kind of keep it back into me. But so far, 185, again, not the heaviest right now. I think 185 would put me at like 77, 78%. But so far, feeling good. Quick elbows, making sure that bar, the pulling, keeping that midfoot pressure as I'm driving through the ground. Yeah, no complaints so far. I think the technique work and what we've been doing for, oh my God, I feel like months now on like drilling, breaking things down, saying more at a lighter intensity, and really just trying to get more volume through sets in like technique work and complexes is really starting to pay off for these cleans. I'm excited after we kind of run through a decent strength phase, get into some retesting just to kind of see how this max increases for me, or if it doesn't increase, how does my positions, my pull look under those really high intensities like a 95 and 98 or even 100% of my old max. We'll give you a couple more of these. I might mute this so you guys are just getting visuals, because awful thing about making YouTube videos is like if I play music, I get hit with stuff. Even though I'm not monetizing anything, I'm just putting these up for fun, I still get like been hit with stuff. Videos have been taken down. And also, if you guys haven't noticed in like the corner screens and all that, I'm actually a super weird person where I'll just watch a movie or TV shows when I lift for background noise. I think that just comes from being in a weight room for so long and just always having music blasting. I really don't listen to music much when I'm lifting just because I hear it so much. So I always usually throw a movie or a TV show up, and that's what I lift to. So just to kind of keep that in the background, these next couple might be muted and all that, just kind of give you guys some visuals of what these sets are looking like. As we're taking a little bit of break, that third set, second rep, I want to look back at the video. I don't know if the pull was really good and it's one of the best positions I've ever been in, because I feel like I definitely pulled good into the bar back to me. I feel like I pushed back and maybe kind of jumped back a little bit versus jumping forward, which is bad. But it felt so different. And I'd have to look back while I'm editing this, and maybe I'll give you guys a clip during when I'm editing this to kind of give a little more information. But definitely felt weird on it, so I don't know if the bar was too far out in front of me. I'd have to look back at it. But that's 2 and 3. One thing I'm starting to also think about on these is, as I'm getting set up, besides like pressure in the middle of the foot, is trying to drive my knees out, using my glutes to just try to create more force, more tension as I'm going through that pull on these. But 2 more sets of these. So far, I'm feeling good on them. Like catching in the bottom, standing up nice and strong. Second one's obviously definitely a little bit harder than the first one just because fatigue's setting in, but I'm happy with the way these are going right now. Fifth one, last set coming up right now. Trying to make sure that we stay consistent, midfoot, good positions, good pulls on every single one of these cleans. Just wrapped up the rest of our lift. I'm excited to kind of edit this up and really look at the cleans to see how the technique is looking. For time's sake, it already takes me about like an hour and a half, almost like an hour and 45 minutes to get through these lifts as I'm filming it for YouTube and all that, giving some chitty chat and also making sure I'm getting my rest in between. So excited to kind of edit and kind of see how they feel. Making sure, again, the biggest thing for me is as I'm pulling, staying patient in that second pull before I extend. But it's really, I think it's coming along well. I always should like remind myself, and I tell this to my athletes all the times, Olympic lifts are great exercises for expression of power, force absorption, coordination, but they're part of a sport. Like Olympic lifting is a sport. There's people who spend their entire lives mastering the clean, mastering the snatch, the jerk, the derivatives of the clean, whether that's pull variations, using it in training to then help with either athleticism or power development is important and it's useful. I don't think it's the number one best way to do it, but it is a way to do it and it's fun. Catching a heavy clean, like going for a heavy jerk, like they're fun movements, especially for me in my training where it's really just a lot of experimentation, trying to become stronger, trying to become faster as I'm in like the middle point of my life. Like I'm thinking back on like days of training for hockey, days of after I got done playing hockey, getting into CrossFit, of like all the stupid things I did in training, really just trying to push more weight versus becoming more technically mastering the movement, and I'd be so much more farther ahead. But it's cool also now as I'm older, I have experience, I have more knowledge, I have all this coaching experience of like thousands of athletes trying to get them learn to hang clean, regular clean, snatch, whether that's powers in the hole. and using that information on myself as I'm older, as I'm more mature, to make sure that these movements get cleaned up so that way I can then do them to the highest ability and express the highest amounts of force. So hopefully you guys like today, a little bit more detailed in just a specific exercise of our training block. I still hit our hypertrophy clusters on incline, hit all our accessories up today, but shorter video, hopefully a little bit more detailed in what we're doing. So if you guys have any questions on cleans, Olympic lifts, leave them down in the comments. I'll answer them the best of my ability. And if I don't know the answer or don't have enough experience to maybe give you a detailed answer, I'm just not going to. I'm just going to tell you I don't know and maybe provide you with resources of someone who's better than me or information that you can dive into yourself. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching the videos. I'll see you next time.